Hey, what is going on? It is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, where today we're going to be talking about the steps to scale your real estate business. And this could be that you're launching your business, or this could be that you're trying to expand your business and take it to the next level. Either way, you want to use this same framework that we're going to lay out, because this is going to help you determine what the next steps are, how much these next steps might cost you, not just of money, but also of time. And so that way you can make sure that your daily to-do list, your daily executions are going to help push you towards that overall greater finish line that you're trying to cross. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, really just laying out a process for you to be able to constantly be evaluating and analyzing and improving upon what it is that you're doing, because if you're not improving upon what it is that you're doing, you're not going to get better. You're not going to make more money. You're not going to become more efficient. So you have to consciously make an effort to improve yourself. And when you do that, it actually, especially once you make a habit out of this will happen naturally. But this framework, this is designed to, again, really put you in the right space to truly analyze and understand what those next steps are to take your real estate business to wherever it is that current finish line is for you. That might just be closing your first deal. Look, I'm a big proponent of setting big, massive goals that are gonna really excite you. And closing one deal is great, but that's not a career. That's just one sale. But when you haven't sold anything before, getting that first deal closed is a major milestone. And yeah, you might have a plan to make $100,000 in a year, or be able to sell $10 million worth of real estate, or whatever your greater, bigger goals that you're going to be striving and stretching yourself for. You definitely want to have those, but then you got to break it down to, okay, what are these next steps? Because when you're starting something brand new, you want to get every little win you could get. Whether that's just passing your course exam, and then passing your state exam, and then even joining the brokerage and joining the Association of Realtors, and you haven't done anything to sell anything yet, but you're accomplishing these goals, and you want to build some momentum. And yeah, you might think, okay, well, yeah, it's not going to make me any money joining a brokerage. No, but you can't make any money until you join a brokerage. And yeah, you don't necessarily need to join the Association of Realtors, but they provide us tons of tools that allow us to do our business in the most effective way possible. So really, if you want to take your business to the top levels, joining the Association of Realtors, it's not necessary, but you're putting yourself in a severe disadvantage by not joining the Association of Realtors. So you investing the money to join the Association of Realtors, that's another milestone that's going to help you accomplish your objectives. And you've got to look at these as goals that you've been able to accomplish. Just paying the fee to join the Association of Realtors and paying the fee to get the license, and these little fees it is that you're paying, yeah, you haven't reaped any rewards yet, but you've opened up doors and opportunities that didn't exist before. And so we're going to take these small wins and be able to build them into larger wins. And this process, this is designed where you can repeat this. The very last step in this 7-step process I want to lay out for you is to repeat this process again and again and again and again. And every time you're repeating this, you're doing it at a larger level. And this is when you hear people talking about scaling their business. This is how you could do it. And it starts to scaling from no deals to 1 deal, to 10 deals, to 100 deals. And you continue to grow this, whether that finish line for you right now is just getting that first deal, or if it's 10 deals, or maybe you're starting your own brokerage, or maybe just starting a real estate team, or you're doing something like that where you're trying to expand. Expansion doesn't come easy, because if you're trying to take your business to a level you've never achieved before, you've never done that before. And sometimes it's going to involve you having to change things it is that you're doing and changing the steps that you're taking to get to that ultimate goal. And again, this framework is 7 steps that we're laying out to really kind of make this where you could take this snapshot of where you're at right now and where it is you're trying to go to plan out these steps. So that's the episode we've got for you guys today. Super long intro to get you all hyped up for, because I'm really hyped up about it. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Carissimo, and we're going to be talking about today the 7 steps that you want to lay out for your expansion plan. And, I don't really consider myself a planner, so to say. I do consider myself a little bit more of a spontaneous person, but at the same time, I'm also very strategic. So even though, I might not like to commit to social plans in advance and things like that, because, sometimes you just want to play it by ear and have some little fun, your business is in a place, you might have fun, but that's not the point of your business. The point of your business isn't to have fun. It's great if you have fun running your business, but that's not what you're ultimately in business for. Your business isn't for fun. There's so many other things you could do, which I'm sure you enjoy more than running your business. Now, you can make running your business fun, absolutely, but the primary objective is to help people so we make money, because that's how we make money, by helping people. So this expansion plan we're going to lay out here, and again, you might not be a planner, you want to understand this framework and you want to lay this out at some level, and you want to make this real. When something is just a thought, is it real? Not really. If it's just a passing thought, even if you think about it a little bit, but you don't verbalize it, you don't put it down on paper, you don't put it on a whiteboard, you don't type it, you don't do anything with it, you don't do anything to make it physical and real, it's not real. So the first step in being able to really understand what steps you've got to take and make them real is to make it real. And it starts by really understanding and analyzing what is the finish line. Maybe that finish line for you right now is just passing your exam. Look, you got to take this one bite at a time sometimes. Yeah, you want to have this greater vision and this greater picture, but when it comes time for execution, you don't just wake up and say, hey, I'm going to make $1 million today, when you don't even have a real estate license and you're trying to make that $1 million through selling real estate. No, you got to take this one step at a time. Yeah, you have that vision, but have your focus on what needs to be accomplished right now to get that done in the quickest way possible. So maybe that's just passing your exam and getting the license. Maybe that's completing your post-licensing course. Maybe that's getting your first deal closed. What is that finish line for you? Maybe you've already closed a deal, and now next you're going to try to close 10 deals. And if you're stuck at, well, what should be my goal? Take what you're doing now and 10x it. Go 10 times what it is that you've done. So if you closed 1 deal, okay, let's get you to 10 deals. Oh, you've already closed 10 deals? Okay, how do we get you to 100 deals? Okay, you've already closed 100 deals. You probably have a pretty decent career so far. How do we take you to 1,000 deals? Oh, you've closed 1,000 deals. How do we take you to 10,000 deals? Now, the exact steps you're going to take, depending on where your business is at, is going to depend on where your business is at and what you need to grow to that next level. But it's really, first, you got to understand, okay, what is that finish line? Is it passing the exam? Is it 1 deal? Is it 10 deals? Is it 100 deals? Is it 1,000 deals? Is it 10,000 deals? Now, when we're talking about 10,000 deals, that's probably not something you're doing on your own. We're probably talking about somebody who's starting a brokerage and trying to close 10,000 deals through other people, because it's going to take you quite some time on your own as a one-person show to go close 10,000 deals. And that's why, again, what you're doing to close your first deal is going to be a completely different set of steps you're doing to get to 100, to 1,000, to 10,000, or whatever it is that you're trying to get to. But that's what you start with. You start with the end in mind. And it might not be the end of your career, but you want to set this goal of, okay, what is it that I want to get to right now? If you haven't closed any deals, your goal is, okay, let's close a deal. Let's get something done. And we're going to keep in mind as we go through this process, overestimating the amount of action required. Because when you overestimate the amount of action required, because you're probably by default underestimating how much action is required. Especially when something is brand new, especially when you haven't done it yourself and you've only seen other people do it, and you see these other people do it and you say, that looks pretty easy. It's not going to be as easy for you the first time you do it. For somebody that's done what you're trying to do 100 times, it's going to be a lot easier for them because they've done it 100 times compared to you doing this one time. So again, you want to overestimate how much action it's going to be required to accomplish this. And we're going to get to this as we're laying out these 7 steps here. But okay, first let's get the finish line down, because we want the finish line. We want to know where we need to be, because we're going to reverse engineer how we get to that finish line. Okay, the finish line is here, and we're currently here. Now, what's probably going to make the most sense, if you could go this path, is to go straight to there. And by reverse engineering this path, you're able to figure out how to go straight from where you are to where it is that you want to go. Now, if you don't lay out the steps that you want to take, and now look, this isn't going to be perfect, so don't get hung up on getting this right. Get hung up on getting something down so you're making some action towards achieving that greater goal. And the more clear you make this, the more you make this real, you put it on paper, and we're going to get to using numbers in a minute. That's going to be one of these steps coming up here, is putting numbers to this, because numbers also make things real. And this is just simple math we're doing here, just simple little calculations that you're going to want to do, because these calculations are the metrics that are driving your business and the feedback that your business is giving you about what you're doing and how it's working. So when you've got these steps laid out because you've reversed engineered this process, that avoids you doing this to get to that same goal. Because if you don't have an intentional plan, if you don't have steps laid out, if you don't have where this end goal is, you're just thinking maybe, oh, I'll get a real estate license and see what happens. Oh, I've been closing 10 deals. If I keep doing what I'm doing, eventually I'll make it to 100 deals. So you've got to reverse engineer this process to lay out the fastest way to get to where it is that you want to go. And part of this reverse engineering, because again, like I said, depending on where you're at and where you're trying to get to, where you're at right now and where that finish line is going to change the steps that you've got to take to get to that ultimate end goal. And in order to properly reverse engineer this might involve some training possibly, or seeking mentorship from somebody who has done what you're trying to do, or again, something where you know, maybe not 100%, but you're fairly confident that the steps that you've laid out are going to result in that end goal that you're trying to achieve. So when you're reverse engineering this process, you start at the finish line, but you're slowly working your way backwards. And just to give you an example, if you're thinking of how do I get to a closing, and you're trying to say, okay, well, I need clients, and you just focus on clients, you don't always consciously know, especially when you're first starting out or you're first trying to do anything new, you don't always know what those next steps are. And when you don't know what the next step is, you're kind of dancing around and floating around hoping you find that next step. By laying out these steps and reverse engineering this process, you find the essential next steps. The things that you can do today, that you can implement today, that's going to move you closer to the finish line. These are maybe just small little things it is that you're able to do, but this is going to help you determine really the to-do list for your daily tasks that you need to execute right now. Because if you're still on step number 3, it doesn't matter what step number 7 is if you got to complete step number 3 first. So yeah, it's good to know that step number 7, what it is, so you know it's coming up and it's something you eventually got to get to. But before you can get to step number 7, you know, if you've laid out 10 different steps that you've got to take for whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether that's the closing and, you know, reverse engineering this. So, okay, we're at closing and we get paid our commission. How did we get there? Well, we got to the closing because we had a contract that didn't fall through. And we got a contract because I showed these buyers houses, or maybe you're doing this scenario with sellers, because again, you want to plan this out and make this real. You want to lay out the steps it is that you need to take. And if you're not sure, if you're new to real estate and you don't know what steps you need to take, that's why you need to get enrolled in post-licensing. If you have not taken post-licensing yet, take it as soon as you can. It's a renewal requirement, but it actually teaches more real-world information as opposed to your pre-licensing course, which is focused primarily on laws and rules and regulations and how you're supposed to practice real estate legally. So the post-licensing, look, this isn't going to be something that it probably isn't something that makes you $1 million agent. You'll probably need to do a little bit more than take a post-licensing course, but that post-licensing course is going to help get you there. If at the very least it's just completing your renewal requirement, but especially if you take that course with us, I think you're going to get a little bit more out of it than just your renewal requirement. So if you need that, give us a call, 813-333-2676. But that might be your essential next step. Maybe you've got the license and you're thinking of, okay, what brokerage do I want to join? And you're interviewing different brokers, and they're all telling you that they're the greatest brokerage, and you're not sure which one you should pick. Well, going back to, did you take post-licensing yet? Because taking that post-licensing course, you're going to learn more about the real world side of real estate and actually practicing real estate. And then it's going to maybe start to make a little bit more sense of what you need to do, because one of the steps that you're doing in the post-licensing course is laying out a business plan. So you're reverse engineering this process of working with sellers, and you're reverse engineering the process of working with buyers. So you know, okay, this is the system I need to move somebody through. And if I can move somebody through this process and move them through the system, every time I move somebody through this system and move them through this process, I get to cash a check at the end of this process. And that's what you need to get good at. You need to get good at developing this system that you could keep moving people through, and you could do this in a repeated process. And then once you've got this down, then you're able to scale your business further, and then maybe have 2 people moving through this process, and then having 3 people moving through the process. And again, you're building the system. The series of steps, that's what a business is. It's a series of processes, systems, and steps that achieve some desired goal. Helps a seller sell, helps a buyer buy, and gets you paid by providing that value to these buyers and sellers. So determining those essential next steps, super important. But now this is where, like I said, you want to back this up with numbers. So part of making this real, just writing down that I'm going to close a house, or I'm going to close 10 deals, I'm going to close 10 sellers, 5 buyers, 5 sellers, 6 buyers, 4 sellers, whatever it is for you that you're laying out this plan, as you start to put numbers to it, that's where it becomes real. What sounds more tangible? And when I say tangible, that basically means more real. What sounds more real? I want to sell real estate, or I want to sell 10 homes this year. Which one is more clear and more specific and has a much more defined image, a much more defined finish line? That's what you want to lay out. And when you bring numbers into this, you're able to start to analyze this system. And as people move through these steps to get through this process, again, that first goal should be at least just doing this once. If you haven't sold any houses yet, let's get you selling a house. Let's get you through that series of steps one time. No, it's not going to be perfect. No, there's going to be things that you didn't expect that come up that you have to learn to handle there in the moment. But as you start to go through this process, you start to notice the things that are the same. And then there's just minor variations as you work with more clients going through this process. But as you're able to systematize this and you know the next steps, your clients then know the next steps, and they feel much more comfortable and at ease going through this process. But again, when you back this up with numbers, and this could be how many leads you need to get to this many appointments, to get to this many contracts, to get to this many closings. We've got on our Success Center, if you haven't checked out our Success Center, that's tampaschool.com/success. We have a business plan calculator that helps you lay out these steps of, okay, if I want to have this much money in income, really reverse engineering this process, if I want this much money in income, that's got the steps laid out of a basic sale process of, okay, it's a lead, then it's an appointment, then it's a contract, then it's a closing. And you're adjusting the ratios of how many contracts become closings. How many appointments does it take to get to a contract? How many leads do we need to have to get to an appointment? And again, this allows you to overestimate that amount of effort it is that you've got to take, so you're going to be much more likely to achieve that goal. But again, you got to start by making this real and putting numbers to this that you could track. That when you say, okay, I need to get 10 leads a week, and you've only got 5 leads this week, are you going to hit your goal? No, you're not. And this is where a lot of new agents struggle of holding themselves accountable. If, everybody wants a career in real estate because you get to be your own boss, and that's extremely powerful that you get to be your own boss, but it's powerful one way or the other. It's powerful to where you could let yourself slack off since you're your own boss, but then you're not going to get the results it is that you want. And then you're going to get frustrated with this, and then you're going to get stressed out because you didn't have a good boss, because you were the boss. Whereas when you hold yourself accountable and you're a good boss, a boss that inspires yourself, a boss that strives to become better, then you could hold yourself accountable to these numbers here, start accomplishing goals. And as you start to accomplish some of these smaller goals, these smaller wins and crossing things off your to-do list, that's where it starts to become easier to achieve these larger goals. And that's why, again, this framework is set up so that you could repeat this process again and again, regardless of where your business is at. So we make a plan to back it up with numbers. And what you want to do with this plan is you don't want to just write it once and then pretend like it doesn't exist anymore. You write it, and then you review it daily. You know, especially if there's things you need to be doing on a daily basis, a certain number of people you need to be getting in contact with, a certain number of appointments you need to be having. When you review this plan daily, you could look at this and see, okay, I've got to get 5 leads today, got to have 1 appointment today. Don't have any leads yet. I've got an appointment, so I've got that. So let me focus on prospecting. Prospecting is what I need to do today so I can generate more leads. Let me follow up with some of these inquiries off of my website. Let me, maybe tap into my sphere of influence a little bit and see if anybody's got any referrals. And again, as you review this daily, this helps your daily tasks keep you aligned with your vision, with that finish line. Because there's constantly going to be distractions and things pulling you out of the race. And that's why if you don't have a clearly defined finish line, while we're kind of drawing out that little squiggly path to get to the finish line, because it's very easy to get distracted and it's very easy to fall victim to being busy as opposed to being productive. There's a difference between just being busy and being productive. It's great if you're busy being productive, but you might be busy not being productive. That's a thing that happens. First step is being aware of it and then identifying when it's happening, because that's what's going to take you off of this path. And there's tons of distractions, whether it's social media, whether it's salespeople trying to make us part of their plan, whether it's just somebody in our office that just wants to talk to us because their plan is let me make a friend today, or let me work on my relationships with my coworkers today. And look, if that's your goals, then fine, perfect, great, then you could do that. But when you have your goals laid out and say, okay, well, I need to get to 10 closings this year. I don't have any closings yet, so I need to work on this. I don't have time to talk right now. I don't have time to do this right now. I'm not going to listen to the sales pitch right now because I need to focus on my own thing and my own plan and getting to my own finish line. And when you review this plan daily, it sets your day up for success because it keeps you aligned with that finish line. But now, your business is going to constantly ebb and flow. And the market's going to change. And this plan that you make on day one is going to be fluid, where it's the finish line is, okay, maybe to start out getting the license. Okay, then the finish line changes. We're now in a new race to maybe close our first deal. And then what happens when we close our first deal? We're not done yet. Now we want to get to 10 deals, and now we're in a new race. We're getting into a marathon now. You start off by these small wins and you build them into bigger things. And again, you go through this process again and again and again to scale your business, but you're going to have to adjust this. Maybe when you first build this plan, it's super ambitious and you're like, I'm going to get 100 leads every week. And then you go through week 1, you end up with 20 leads. Well, that's better than no leads, but if your plan, if you achieving that, getting to that finish line is contingent upon you getting 100 leads a week and you only got 20 leads, we've got to make some adjustments. And the adjustments are either going to be that we're going to have to double down next week and get 180 leads since we only got 20 this week and our goal was to get 100 a week, or we might have to revisit this and say, okay, well, maybe I need to find a way to get better quality leads. Maybe I need to find a way to make these leads more into appointments. Maybe I should focus on that aspect of my business. And when you have numbers backing this up that you could track, that you could hold yourself accountable to, you could adjust these on a weekly basis to steer the ship. You know, imagine you're on the Titanic and you're heading to the United States. Now, that's probably a bad example because that was not a successful voyage. It's infamous for not being a successful voyage. But despite it being this catastrophe, they were still adjusting. But it's the lack of adjustments. And they didn't see this iceberg coming up from up ahead. And they didn't see this iceberg and they just rammed right into it. Why didn't they see it? Well, it was foggy. They couldn't see, or so the story goes. It was, well, I don't know what year it happened that the Titanic sunk, but there was not the advanced technology that we have today. And, you know, part of this might be that your ship might be really basic and you might need to introduce new technology into your business that's going to help you with these leads. So you don't need 100 leads a week. So you only need to get the 20 leads a week. And that's how you adjust this on a weekly basis to keep this aligned with your finish line. To say, okay, well, this is after 1 week of this. And yeah, maybe you could push yourself. Maybe you could get 30 leads next week. But if you only got 20 this week, how are you going to get 100 the original estimate, or make up for those extra 80 to get 180. And that's going to be next to impossible if all you can do is generate 20 leads this week. So that's part of this adjustment, that you want to constantly adjust this, because if you're not adjusting the plan, your plan goes away. And when your plan goes away, that's where you start wandering aimlessly through generating business. And you're not going to be as successful as you could be is if you laid out the exact precise steps you need to take and you constantly adjust this and revisit this. Now, let's say you get to this where you hit your finish line, you hit that one closing, you get your first closing done, or you're planning to get to 10 and you got to 10 closings, or you're trying to get to 100 and you got to 100, or whatever it is that you hit that finish line. Last step here is to repeat this process. If it worked once, why would you change it? Why would you not use this framework to do this all over again? To say, okay, now I've hit one contract, one closing, how do I get to 10 now? Okay, the new finish line is 10. Now what got you to one deal could get you to 10 deals, but chances are the time it took you to one deal, you don't want to take that times 10 to get to 10 deals. You want to be able to speed up this process. So again, we're reverse engineering this, and we're seeing what it is that we've got to change in our business, where we have to change speeds, how we have to adjust course, because it's not just that we launch from England and eventually we'll make it to the United States. We've got to navigate the waters. We've got to make sure we're not going to hit an iceberg. We've got to make sure we stay on course when the wind blows us off course. We've got to make sure that the tides and the currents and everything in the changing business environment in the market is not throwing you off course to achieving your goals. And again, you're reverse engineering this process, figuring out the next step, backing it up with numbers, reviewing it every single day, and adjusting it weekly. And you repeat this process again and again and again and again, and you start hitting these smaller goals that build your confidence to hit these larger goals. It's amazing how when you look back to see what it is that you've accomplished. Maybe you're just starting out and you don't have that yet. Let's build that. Let's get you there. Let's get you some small wins so you look back and say, I did that. I passed the exam. I joined a brokerage. I joined the Association of Realtors. I went and closed my first deal. I closed 10 deals. I closed 100 deals. As we get farther and deeper into this, you look back and it becomes a much more impressive journey that you've gone, because you've gone farther than you ever believed you could go before. Because at one point, there was a time where you were wondering if you could pass the exam. At one point, there was a time where you were wondering if you're ever going to sell a piece of real estate. There was a time to where, okay, you did this once, can we repeat this? Can we do it a few more times to see if I could actually make a career and a business out of this? And then you get to those 10 deals or whatever that check mark is for you, that checkpoint is for you, and then you're getting on your way to 100 deals. If you think back, there's a time when you weren't even sure if you're going to even pass the exam, or maybe that you're even able to close that first deal, and now you're on your road to 100 deals. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens one step at a time. And the more conscious and aware and intentional you are about these steps, and the more you make these steps real, and you know the necessary daily tasks that you need to take today, you're able to start moving towards that finish line slowly but surely. And you start out at just a walk. You're just walking at first, and then you're jogging, and then you're running, and then you're sprinting, and you're going farther than you ever believed you could have gone before because of what history it is that you have. And now that's propelling you further into the future. When you're changing directions, as they say, you've been doing this all your life, and now you want to go get a real estate license and start a real estate career, to change directions, a lot of times you've got to slow down. You've got to slow down, and now you're starting to head in this new direction, but it's not going to move as fast as what you've done before, because this is all brand new. And so again, to take that out of the equation, to make this as intentional as possible, follow this framework. Lay out, okay, this is the goal I'm trying to achieve. This is how we've got to do it. These are the next steps that I've got to take right now. These are the numbers. These are the metrics I need to hit to be able to get to that finish line. I'm looking at this daily, so I make sure the tasks that I'm doing today are going to ultimately move me towards that finish line. I'm making adjustments every week to make sure when I fall short or I overestimate something, whatever the case may be, that we're still staying on course towards that finish line. And once we get there, we start with a new finish line. We say, okay, now that we've got 1, we're going to 10. Now that we've got 10, we're going to 100. Now that we've got 100, we're going to 1,000. And you slowly snowball into these bigger and bigger goals that you can accomplish. And that's how you effectively scale. It all starts with just this small thing and just doing it that one time first. You've got to do it once to do it 10 times. You've got to do it 10 times to do it 100 times. You've got to do it 100 times to do it 1,000 times. So there's these different checkpoints you've got to get yourself to. And You want to find out what's that next one for you, how do you get there as fast as possible, take those essential next steps, adjust this accordingly, and then repeat this process again and again and again. So that's how you expand your real estate business. Again, where you're at in your business, whether you're just trying to pass your exam, get that first deal, get 10 deals, or get 100 deals, is going to change what you need to do at each one of these steps here. But it's the same framework you need to go through. So look, if you're looking to start your real estate career, maybe you need to take that post-licensing course to learn about actually selling real estate. Maybe you're ready to start a brokerage. Or maybe you're thinking about starting a brokerage and you just want to get the license so you could stay as a broker associate, and as soon as you're ready to start your brokerage, all you've got to do is file an application with the DBPR to start the brokerage. So we can help you with that. We've got in-class and online broker licensing courses. Call us up, 813-333-2676, 813-333-2676. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way that we can. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and I'll see you on Friday for State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.